Tell me about your problem with sight. Something happened to you when you were 21 years old. Yes, I started slowly losing sight on my right eye. The vision gradually started dropping on my left eye as well. I was told numerous diagnoses from doctors that it was congenital problem, but I denied all of that. I went to the examination for my driving license. He told me that the other doctors missed diagnosis. Simply they just couldn't find the right diagnosis. Didn't have an ear for that. I visited many doctors. What did those doctors tell you? Did they have the same opinion? Some told me it was congenital error, others told me it was a macular degeneration that I inherited genetically. No one had, they didn't have same opinion. Did they tell you you couldn't be helped? They even told me I would get blind. How did that affect you? You were only 21 years old, just got married, started family, and you were told such an opinion. Simply that diagnosis made me withdraw from the world. I couldn't communicate with anyone. I started visiting all the doctors everywhere in Croatia and Bosnia. The last doctor, lady doctor in Tuzla, told me I would get blind. This is a message for her that I can see. Thank to God today. Then I went to Belgrade, to clinic Sveti Vid. On my first exam, doctor told me, he gave me moral support. I came with loads and loads of findings. He was appalled with diagnosis. My sight at that time was, I could not see 90% on my right eye and 50% on my left eye. I must admit that must be shocking for a young person who always saw well, and the problem started growing and getting worse, losing vision. My vision was drastically falling, particularly the last 2 to 3 years. How are you managing in all of that? I suppose you could not drive. When I got to the point I could not drive, I started accepting the fact that I was losing sight. Until then, I was in denial. I couldn't accept the fact I could not see. When we had all analysis done, first analysis, doctor explained to me everything, and there was a solution and help. First operation we did last year in month of May, and a month later, in month of June, it was second operation. How long were they lasting? An hour, 1 hour. I couldn't see quite well first 10 days. My vision was blurry from operation. After that, you could see clear. Yes, yes. I saw even better than what expectations were. I got gas permeable lenses that brought my vision to 100%. It means you can see us all well now in studio. How was your family managing all of that? You mentioned you were in denial about diagnosis. How was your wife managing? She was struck and hurt. I must say they were all supporting me, also my sister, particularly my sister, who was giving me support from day one. Well, say hello to Mediha Kezic. Mediha, welcome. Miralem said, that you were his great support. I was the one who initiated going to Belgrade, because several days prior to that, Miralem was at my daughter's birthday party. He disappeared at one moment. He went to the children's bedroom. He had headache. Prior to Sveti Vid, his headaches were constant, frequent. He couldn't watch TV. Of course, he couldn't drive, and if he was watching TV, he was squinting. Disease he had is called keratoconus. It's conal protrusion of cornea that distorts images, so he couldn't see. When I realized how little he saw, actually could not see, realized his difficulties, because he was hiding it from us, he was not admitting it, he always had excuses. He couldn't accept the fact that he couldn't see. After that day, after that birthday, I found a telephone number, and even though some friends suggested to go to Zagreb, I contacted Sveti Vid. We went there. They performed examination. We showed 3 findings with 3 different diagnoses from 2008, 2009, and it was 2010 that year. The doctor could not believe that on one finding he had 100% vision. He couldn't believe his sight was rapidly falling. He told us that it was keratoconus, but he was confused with some diagnoses of juvenile macular degeneration. What he said, it was hereditary. And to eliminate and explore that, we needed to do 2 findings. First analysis already told us that it wasn't that. That it didn't show disease, but to do the other. We were planning to go to Belgrade, but he called and said no need to travel. They already had analysis just to do magnet resonance and neuro-ophthalmology exam. We scheduled magnet resonance, MR. The striking thought was the doctor suspected multiple sclerosis or tumor. We performed MR, we collected findings, we went to Belgrade, the doctor looked at all the findings from Sveti Vid, MR, neuro-ophthalmology finding. He said, he was holding those papers and said, thank God, it's all well, it's only keratoconus causing problems, and that should be solved. As a final diagnosis, keratoconus. We scheduled surgery. First was operated right eye, very poor vision. A month later, left eye. I suppose you were very relieved when doctor said there was hope. Yes, on that first exam, doctor turned the chart on, and Miralem could not recognize big letter. He could not see it. And after the surgeries, he could see even the small letters.